Welcome to Whippoorwill Holler. I'm Miss Lori, and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. Keepers of the old way, but accept some of the new. We love to cook, and we love to eat. We love to garden. It's in our blood. It's how we stay sustainable and fill our pantry. We do a lot of canning and preserving. We live a sustainable life. We love our family. We work hard. And every once in a while, we like to dance. So y'all join us. We are celebrating two singer-songwriters that I grew up with as a young girl. And I tell you, I had so many favorites, from Loretta Lynn to Patsy Cline, just so many. But two of them, one of them was Dolly Parton, the other was Elvis Presley. So today we're going to be making the Dolly Parton soup. Now, I can remember before me and Danny ever got married, his mama, that's how far back this soup goes, his mama would make this soup. She was always on a diet. She was diabetic, had to watch her diet a lot, because they would swear that you'd lose weight. And I'm going to read to you from the recipe how it tells you that people have lost weight eating this Dolly Parton soup. Now, that's not the reason I'm making it, because y'all know that I'm probably going to be making cornbread to go with it. We just like this soup, so we just eat it regardless. But it's a good soup, and I'm halving it. So if you want a really big pot of this soup, you would double what I'm fixing to put in my pot. And we're also going to be making an Elvis Presley cake, and it's one of my favorites. So anyways, first thing we're going to do, so I got my pot here, and I'm just going to put me some olive oil on the bottom. And y'all know that I like quick and I like easy recipes, so I'm always telling you this is going to come together pretty quick. We're going to put 2 onions in here, and they were about 2 medium onions. If you have 2 large onions and you like onions, put 2 large onions in there. Just chop them up. You know, sometimes there's a lot of these recipes that don't have to be exactly precise. Just get as close as you can. And I want to saute these onions just a little bit. And I've got, the recipe calls for, if you're making a big pot, it calls for 2 large bell peppers. And I got these out of the freezer. In fact, I just put them up. And there's more than 2. I think there's 3 here. But that's okay, because I'm using 3. Because we love bell pepper. I love the taste that onions and bell pepper give, well, anything you put it with. And then I didn't have as much celery as what the recipe calls for. But this, I think, was about 5 stalks of celery. You can cut up a whole bundle of celery and put it in here, and it's going to be good. But I'm just putting what I've got. So I'm just going to not even cook this very long. I'm just going to let it saute just a little bit. Now I've got 1 head of cabbage, and the recipe calls for 2 heads. Like I said, I'm halving it. So I've got, the recipe calls for 1 package of Lipton onion soup mix, or if you make your homemade Lipton onion soup mix, and I have a video for that. And it measures out to about 1/3 of a cup, just a scant less. And then I've got a large can. This is fire roasted diced tomatoes. You use whatever tomatoes you have. Canned tomatoes that you've canned, or they don't even have to be fire roasted. Just use whatever you've got. It's going to be good. And they don't even have to be diced. They can just be whole, or, you know, however you've put them up, maybe when you canned them. You can even do this with just tomato juice. So you don't have to even have whole tomatoes or diced tomatoes. I'm going to read this to y'all. This is the Dolly Parton diet. It says to make the soup. Of course, you're watching me make the soup, and it says day 1. So what you want to eat on day 1 is all fruits except bananas along with the soup. Your first day will consist of all the fruits you want except bananas. For all you melon lovers, this is just the day for you. 2 fruits which are lower in calories than most other fruits are watermelon and cantaloupe. Should you eat only melons, your chances of losing 3 pounds the first day are great. Day 2, all vegetables along with the soup. Eat until you are stuffed with all the fresh, raw, and cooked vegetables of your choice. Try to eat green leafy veggies and stay away from veggies such as dried beans, peas, and corn. These veggies are good for you, but not if you're trying to reduce your calorie intake, which you are. So eat as much of any other vegetables as you want. Surprise, you may also have a large baked potato with butter on your vegetable day. Day 3, fruits and vegetables along with the soup. Same as day 1 and day 2, except today, no potato. I'm trying to figure out, I'm not sure, I'm going to have to read a little bit more. When they say, along with your soup, I wonder how many ounces of soup you get. I'm not too sure it tells that. Okay, day 3, I already read that. Day 4, bananas and skim milk along with the soup. Eat as many 8 bananas, and drink as many as 8 glasses of skim milk on this day, along with your miracle soup. Bananas are very high in calories and carbohydrates, and so is milk. But on this particular day, your body will need these essential carbs, proteins, and calcium, which will lessen your cravings for sweets. Day 5, beef and tomatoes along with the soup. You may have 10 to 12 ounces of beef and 6 tomatoes on your 5th day. Try to drink at least 8 glasses of water in order to wash away the uric acid in the body. Day 6, beef and vegetables along with the soup. Eat until your heart is content of beef and veggies, but no potatoes this day. Day 7, brown rice, unsweetened fruit juice, and vegetables along with the soup. Again, stuff yourself, stuff. FYI, it says, okay, we'll forget that. Anyways, last step. It says, make all your friends drool by posting a picture of your finished recipe on your favorite social network, and don't forget to take a picture of yourself and show that you lost weight. Anyways, and some of y'all may have done this, and I'm not making fun of you. I just think it's funny. I mean, I think I could do this diet if you'd actually lose weight, but I can remember my mother-in-law doing it. I really do, and she may have lost weight. I'll have to read just a little more into this. I thought I did. I don't think I read how much soup you would actually eat each day. Somebody may know that. If you do, put it down in the comments. But anyways, like I said, I'm not making this for me and Deanie to be on no diet with it. We just love eating it, and it is Dolly Parton soup. And I'm just going to continue to let this just cook a little bit. And I've got a whole 1/4 cup of minced garlic. This right here, just, to me, it's not a lot. Now, if y'all are not big on garlic, you don't even have to put none in. But if you just want to do half of it, but I'm putting a whole 1/4 cup of minced garlic. You know, my mother-in-law was such a good cook and such a good baker. And she cooked for so many people all the time. And you can imagine, you know, she was always like the rest of us, fighting her weight. And then I think she became diabetic. And so she had to start watching, you know, after a while. And she did do better. Now, she did still cook and bake, but with moderation. She done better. So what I'm going to do now is cook just a little bit. It's cooked enough, because what we're going to do is we're going to put all this together, put the lid on, and we're going to let it boil for about 10 to 15 minutes till everything's tender. So, you know, it comes together pretty quick. So I'm going to go ahead and put my head of cabbage in here, and I just cut it and chunked it up. No special way. And this is a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. And then what you want to do is get you some water. So I'm going to get me enough water to cover this. So let me get back to and get my water. I should have already had it pulled up, and I didn't do it. I'm always forgetting something. And like I said, I'm going to be making some cornbread to go with this, so it needs just a little bit more water, because I want to kind of cover the cabbage and the tomatoes and peppers and stuff with some water, because we're fixing to put our Lipton onion soup mix in here. Now, if you were making this soup and you weren't worried about losing weight either, there's so many different ways you can eat this soup. You could cook it up and serve it over rice. You could put some noodles in here with it. So that was that equals one package of Lipton onion soup mix. Now, at this point, even adding the Lipton onion soup mix, you can still add whatever herbs you like. But you could add noodles to it. You can add hamburger meat to this. You could put Polish sausage, kielbasa, something like that. Be good with it. So I'm going to put me some pepper. And I can tell y'all, Danny laughs at my new pepper grinder, my electric one. I tell you, it saves my hands, that's for sure. I'm going to put me some salt. And I'll taste it as I go, because I may need more salt and pepper in it. I don't know. Okay. Like I said, you can put any kind of herb in here that you think you might like. So, I'm going to turn this up. I'm going to put the lid on it. I'm going to let it come up to a boil, and I'm going to let it boil for about 15 minutes, and I'll check it for tenderness. See if the cabbage is good and tender, and the bell peppers and everything. Then we're going to start our Elvis Presley cake. Okay, what you want to do for your Elvis Presley cake is all we're going to do is start with a white cake mix. And I like Duncan Hines. That's just one of my favorite cake mixes. That's always what I use. I try to stock up on them because I use them a lot in a lot of different cake recipes. If I don't make, the cake homemade, then I like to use Duncan Hines. And this is a classic white cake mix. Now you can use any kind of brand name white cake mix you want. So I got my cake mix in there, and all you want to do is just mix it up according to the instructions of your box. And I've got 3 large egg whites. Not the whole egg, just the egg whites, because this is a white cake. I've got 1 cup of water and 1/3 of a cup of oil. And I'm not even going to use my mixer. I'm just going to kind of mix this up. And I've got this is a 9 by 13. It does have a deeper side to it than a lot of them do. And I'm going to make it in this cake pan. So a 9 by 13 is what you'll need to use. And I'm just going to kind of mix this up. Now, all we're going to do is put this in our cake pan. And you can grease it and flour it or just spray it, whichever you prefer to do. My oven is heated to 350 degrees. And we're just going to cook our cake till it's done. And when we come back, we'll make our topping that goes on it and what makes it so good. Cake mix smells so good. Okay, into a 350 oven it goes. Okay, we're just going to take our fork and we're just going to poke a bunch of holes in our cake. The cake's still a little bit warm, it's not real hot. Are you aggravating me?
I want some plain cake.
Plain, I know you do. This is going to be an Elvis Presley cake. I think you'll like it. It's going to have cream cheese icing on it and stuff. Anyways, we poked some holes in that. Back here in that back pot, I'm going to turn my burner on. I'm going to put 8 ounces of crushed pineapple with the juice. And I'm going to put a cup of sugar. And about a half a teaspoon of vanilla. Deanie loves plain cake, hot out of the oven. I do too. We like to smear butter on it and just eat it. And I'm going to let that warm up and I'm going to let it come to a boil. And once it comes to a good boil, I'm going to let it boil for just a couple of minutes. My pineapple is boiling pretty good. You can see the bubbles around the sides there. So I'm going to go ahead and let it continue to boil for a couple more minutes. Okay, I'm going to turn the burner off underneath that. It's been boiling for a good 2 minutes. And before this, we poked holes in our cake. So now we're just going to pour this over our cake. We're going to let all this goodness soak into this cake and let it cool down before we put our icing on. It smells so good. Just spread it around evenly and just let it sit there and soak into that cake. Gonna be amazing. Might even make you sing "You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog." You reckon? Okay, let's let that sit just a little bit. Now we're going to make our icing for our Elvis Presley cake. And all I got in my bowl was 8 ounces of cream cheese and a half a cup or 1 stick of softened butter. I'm going to get this mixed up and then I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla to it. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. And if this seems too thick to you, you can add a little bit of cream or a little bit of milk to it. I'm going to continue just to mix this. Now I've got 3 cups of powdered sugar, and I'm just going to add a little bit at a time and start mixing it up. And I added a tablespoon of milk in here. Okay, we put all 3 cups of powdered sugar in there and mixed it up good. Now I'm going to put, we're going to say that my hand is a cup. So just a couple of cups of pecans, chopped up pecans. And we're just going to mix that up. And this is what's going to go on top of our cake. Easy, simple, and delicious. And these are pecans that come all the way from Alabama. My friend from Alabama sent these to me. It's going to be so good. So there's our icing. Now this is best made the day ahead, and stick it in the refrigerator and just let all the goodness just kind of soak into that cake. Your cream cheese is set up a little bit and it'll be so good. So there you go. Elvis Presley cake. Some people call it the jailhouse rock cake. Whatever kind of cake it is, it's going to be good. So whether if you're eating this for a Dolly Parton diet, or if you're just like us and you just like it with cornbread, it's good stuff. Of course, we just love cabbage, boiled cabbage, and this soup is really delicious with the bell peppers and onions and stuff in it, and it's hot. Very, very hot. It's good stuff. Now, for the dessert, Elvis Presley. He knew his cakes, didn't he? Now, like I said, this is really good the next day. It needs to just kind of sit and to soak all that goodness up. It's such a good moist cake. I think you're really going to like it. So if y'all like this video and like these recipes, please subscribe and share. And y'all make a Dolly Parton soup and Elvis Presley cakes. I think you're really going to like it. You can't have cake. You got to eat supper first.
I've been out fixing rabbits, keeping them out of you.
Out of my garden.
Out of your greens, fixing fence.
You're going to eat some supper? This needs to sit in the refrigerator for a little bit.
I'm ready for supper.
Okay. Make you a bowl. We'll see you guys later. God bless.